and welcome to the Herald, home of game lore, stories, and, well, a bit of fangirl shenanigans too. So today we venture into the undiscovered country of lost lore, more specifically the stories we all miss as we are collectively running breakneck speed, hair on fire through the dungeons of the various gaming universes we inhabit. Now, in the first installment of this new series, created at the request of Cpt Aidda, thank you darling, you're an angel, and with the kind assistance of my good friend Sturdy Dirty McFerderson, well, we will be diving into the Elder Scrolls Online and the story of the Banished Cells Volume 1. I hope you enjoy.
Well met. I thank you for the assistance, but this place is teeming with Daedra. You should leave if you value your life. In ages past, the vilest of my people were interred here as punishment. Today, the Banished Cells contain a sole prisoner, High Kinlord Release the 12th. Release is long dead, but his Daedric pact sustains him, and a prisoner he remained. Until today. The tale is well known in these parts. In his youth, High Kinlord Release was a hero, instrumental in bringing order to this region. However, Release's thirst for power, which drove him to perform great feats, was his undoing. I have not seen them since the Daedra attacked. Araldor is the closest, and if she lives, you'll find her up ahead.
The Manifesto of Kinlord Release the 12th. There was a time when I could not hear the words of my master echo in my ears. I did not know it then, but those were dark times. To return to those days would be like returning to a life of blindness. There are things I can see and feel today, horribly beautiful things that no other in my kingdom is privy to. With a little time and a little focus, I can perform feats now that would bring the rest of Tamriel to its knees. And what did those foolish nobles do when I, their kinlord, presented them with this power and the prospect of protecting all of the known world? The fools sealed my magic and locked me in the Banished Cells.
Araldor, you live!
I do, though I've seen better days. The High Kinlord's power has grown. He would not have been able to escape our predecessors as he has escaped us today. We need to go after him.
Stay down, Keeper. You're injured. If the others yet live, we should find them, then deal with Release, if we can. He has already escaped. I will not suffer further dishonor by losing lives to him.
You're ever the optimist. An Altmer should not fear the end, Syrian. I would give the lives of all four of us to stop Release. The High Kinlord will rend Tamriel apart if he gets to the surface, and it will be our fault.
There is a difference between fearing death and throwing your life away, Araldar, and as long as I lead the Keepers, you will do neither. If the others live, we'll find them. You've helped more than I could have hoped, stranger. Araldor will survive this. Araldar would like nothing more than to confront Release now, but we're not ready. The High Kinlord can't be killed. Our only course is to capture him, but we'll need a sturdier prison than we've ever had before. Araldar and I will think on a plan to deal with the High Kinlord. Defeating Release is pointless if we can't hold him. In the meantime, the area up ahead is under Keeper Varanil's jurisdiction. Even if he lives, he'll need your help.
What delightful folly is this? The Keepers have enlisted an outsider to face me? You fools have fallen so low! There are easier ways to prove your bravery, mortal. Turn back, or you'll share the Keeper's fate.
I guessed their purpose when half a dozen guards led me down here, at the point of their swords. These were members of my personal guard, who had protected me all of my life, and they would see that I live the rest of my days under the dirt. Volrain, perhaps the kindest of my caretakers in youth, put a hand on my shoulder as we walked the long flights of stairs down to the Banished Cells. I was beside myself, quivering, and he believed I was afraid. He was mistaken. It was rage that overtook me, not fear. And as I stepped off the last step, with their swords still to my back, I spun around and I released that rage. Volrain died almost instantly, engulfed in a cloud of flame, his scream muted by the roar of my destruction spell. As the guards leapt over Volthrain's burning remains, I turned his sword away with a bolt of lightning to the throat, and the weapon slid neatly into the chest of the third guard. It stunned me how warm the blood was. Suddenly my hands were covered in it, and I marveled at the balmy fluid. It was like wearing the finest velvet gloves in the land, and it amused me to no end. For the first time since my capture, I laughed. I roared. Eventually, they sent another contingent of guards to search for the first. By then, I had decided to stay, for a little while at least. I wanted to see the look on their faces when they found the bodies of their comrades.
It's Varanil! Haraldor! See to him!
By the Empyrean light. Let's hope he lives.
Has he been slain?
He's not the model of well-being, but he lives. Are you satisfied, Syrian? I'm eager to pursue the High Kinlord.
Patience, Haraldor. I need you to heal him, and Immaril is still unaccounted for. We'll need her to face Rilis. There's one keeper left, and I worry for her. Immaril guards the area closest to Rilis's prison. The two have a strained rapport. Of all of us, the High Kinlord would bear the fiercest grudge against Immaril. The sooner you find her, the better. She's in the deepest part of the Banished Cells. I have conceived the beginnings of a spell to handle Rilis, and we'll need Immaril if it's going to succeed. There isn't one yet. I still have details to work out. Just find Immaril, and we may be able to turn this against Rilis.
The nobles who orchestrated my capture refused to have me slain. Why do they lack the stomach for such work? Why would they take me from my family and the vocation granted me by my lineage, but they refuse to release me from this banal existence? I've asked them. Oh, how I've asked them. I've demanded, I've threatened, I've begged for an end. They do nothing for me, and in my distress, I turn to the only person who has ever truly cared. I hear the Master's voice incessantly now, and while I do not understand everything he says, I know he has my best interests at heart. His advice, he wants me to become better, a better High Kinlord. He teaches me, and through him I've learnt spells that will open a way to the Master, so that my subjects can meet him, can be made better.
Over there, Veronil. We've found her.
I see her. Let's hope she lives. We'll need her before the day is done.
She's going to be fine with a little restoration magic. We should be considering how to handle the High Kinlord.
Even if we defeat him, how do we contain him? He's already escaped once. If we could control Daedric magic, perhaps this wouldn't have happened. What do you think, Sirion? Fight fire with fire?
Stay your tongue, Veranil! You insult your lineage by even thinking it. Does the High Kinlord's fate appeal to you so? We go with my plan and divide his essence among us. He can't escape his prison if he's not whole. We need to attract Release's attention, and retaking the binding stone that was his prison is sure to alert him. It's just up ahead. Mount an assault to secure the stone, and he's sure to make an appearance. Defeat Release, and we will contain him. Before he escaped, we kept Release's soul encased in a single binding stone, passed down by the Keepers. For ages, it was his prison. We're going to put him back, but this time, he's going in pieces. It's not as macabre as it sounds. He has no body. I speak of his soul. The Keepers will siphon his essence into not one, but 4 binding stones, to keep his power divided. He'll hardly be conscious in that state, let alone able to summon Daedra. You have the most difficult task of all. I need you to find Release and defeat him, if you can.
As the decades go by, guards give way to new guards, and soon all guards will give way to a new order of keepers trained in magics to keep me bound here. The death I have so often begged for has finally come to claim me, and the nobles must know that my pact will see that I walk through death unscathed. But I do not despair at living, as I would have years ago. As my mortal body fades, oblivion seeps in to replace it with a new form, an eternal form. They say that the Altmere are long-lived compared to the lesser races. Soon I will be a race unto myself, and I will outlive the Altmere. The Master tells me that ages from now I will be free from this prison, so that I might be his presence, the first of his new elven people, and be complete. That will be a day of reckoning for my keepers. For all Tamriel.
Is that you, Sirion? I don't know how you defeated those Banekin, but I'll be glad to send more. Ah, it's the outsiders. So the Keepers are afraid to face me. Very well. You'll die in their stead. I'm going to enjoy this.
The Binding Stone. Altmere texts reference many variations of the entrapment spell. Some of these spells, like the First Era and Inez's Tower, create physical fields around their targets. These varieties are unbreachable unless broken by an appropriate amount of force, like a conjured stone wall or shield wards turned inwards. The effect differs in strength from spell to spell, but is generally effective for containing the layman prisoner, and is certainly tougher to break free from than brick and mortar. Of course, sometimes a mage seeks to confine creatures that walls won't hold, magical or otherwise. Gaseous forms of Wild Hunt, Nether Liches, and various ghosts and phantoms all have means to escape physical barriers. These must be imprisoned using spells that create completely impermeable surfaces, whilst absorbing or stemming the magicka of their captives. These spells must be re-incanted constantly to avoid consuming themselves, usually at a high cost of magicka for the caster. The Binding Stone, which your head keeper will soon introduce to you if he has not already, functions as a combination of these spells, but capable of holding all manner of magicka-wielding creatures, even one as powerful as your charge. I'm sure you understand the grave nature of what the prisoner's escape would mean, both to you personally, and to Auradon and Tamriel as a whole. The condition of the Binding Stone is more important than the condition of your prisoner. Indeed, your very lives depend upon the upkeep and maintenance of the stone. And as for your prisoner, do not look at him. Do not speak to him. There is no specific danger in doing so, but any such interaction is a fruitless venture. Watch yourself, watch each other, do your duty, and your name will live forever amongst those who have committed everything to shield Auradon from his menace.
You think you've beaten me? How amusing. Haven't you noticed that the pact I've made protects me from death?
Ignore his words, keepers. Begin the separation.
I'm not confident this will work, Sirion.
What are you lot doing? Oh, I do so love to see magic. Is that what this is? This isn't as grand as the spells I learned from the Daedra, but I don't expect much from mortal alt. Remember, children, you'll never keep me here of your own accord, not when the Daedra fight for me. Perhaps you'd fare better if you had Daedra on your side.
His madness nears delirium. Ignore him, keepers. Bind the High Kinlord.
By the light Imperium, the keepers of the Banished Cells hereby condemn Rillis the 12th to imprisonment unending.
Oh my, it looks like you've won. Old Rillis's days of freedom are over, it seems.
I thought you said this bastard wouldn't be able to speak.
He shouldn't be able to achieve coherent thought. We'll have to watch him carefully.
I hope you enjoyed this ESO lore edition. There will be more Lost lore coming to the channel soon-ish for Guild Wars 2, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV. Any other games? Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a bit of Lost lore here. Now, please like, share, subscribe, click that little bell to see my weekly content on the channel, and do show some love to Aidda, Cub, Hain, Molini, Kyle Nelson, Jolly Joestar, Kildare, Dark Griever, and all my wondrous, fantabulous Patreons without whom I would be unable to commit the time and resources I do to the Herald channel. I can never thank them enough. Now, I hope you will all join me again very soon for more Lost lore. But until then, as always, thanks for watching.